Okay, so I brought this book with me on my trip, and I've tried to read this book millions of times, but never before have these words been like, yes, I understand, I'm experiencing this now, than when I was on my trip and in silence and in a meditative state. And I want to share this with everyone because, yes, meditation takes gumption. It is certainly a great deal easier to just sit back and watch television, so why bother? Why waste all that time and energy when you could just be out enjoying yourself? Why? Simple. Because you are human. Just because of the simple fact that you are human, you find yourself heir to an inherent unsatisfactoriness in life that simply will not go away. You can suppress it from your awareness for a time. You can distract yourself for hours on end, but it always comes back, and usually when you least expect it. Meanwhile, way down under all of that, you just know that there has to be another way to live, a better way to look at the world, a way to touch life more fully. You click into it by chance, now and then, you get a good job, you fall in love, you win the game. For a while, things are different. Life takes on a richness and a clarity that makes all the bad times and humdrum fade away. The whole texture of your experience changes and you say to yourself, okay, now I've made it. Now I will be happy. But then, that fades too, like smoke in the wind. You are left with just a memory that, and the vague awareness that something is wrong. So what is wrong with you? Are you a freak? No. You are just human, and you suffer from the same malady that infects every human being. It is a monster inside all of us, and it has many arms: chronic tension, lack of genuine compassion for others, including the people closest to you, blocked up feelings and emotional deadness, many arms. None of us are entirely free from it. We may deny it. We may try to suppress it. We build a whole culture around hiding from it, pretending it is not there, distracting ourselves with goals, projects, and concerns about status, but it never goes away. It is a constant undercurrent in every thought and every perception. A little voice in the back of the mind that keeps saying, not good enough, not yet, need to have more, have to make it better, have to be better. It is a monster that manifests everywhere in subtle forms. Go to a party, listen to the laughter, those brittle-tongued voices that express fun on the surface and fear underneath. Feel the tension, the pressure. Nobody really relaxes. They're faking it. Go to a ball game, watch the fans in the stand, watch the irrational fits of anger, watch the uncontrolled frustration bubbling forth from people that masqueraded under the guise of enthusiasm or team spirit. These are people trying desperately to release tension from within. These are people who are not at peace with themselves. Watch the news on the TV. Listen to the lyrics of popular songs. You find the same theme repeated over and over in different variations: jealousy, suffering, discontent, stress. And what is our solution to all this dissatisfaction? We get stuck in the if only syndrome. If only I had more money, then I would be happy. If only I could find somebody who really loved me. If only I could lose 20 pounds. If only I had a color TV, a hot tub, curly hair, and on and on and on forever. Where does all of this junk come from? And more important, what can we do about it? It comes from the conditions of our own minds. It is a deep, subtle, and pervasive set of mental habits, a Gordian knot that we have tied bit by bit and that we can only unravel in just the same way, one piece at a time. We can tune up our awareness, dredge up each separate piece, and bring it out into the light. We can make the unconscious conscious, slowly, one piece at a time. I'm going to share with you why I did not speak for 3 days, about the challenges and the revelations I experienced in doing this, why I wanted to create a silent retreat for myself to begin with. I live in a house full of people. I live with my family currently, and for like the last month or so, I've just been noticing this consistent pain in my throat. Not like a sore pain, but like a clump. It's hard to describe, but I could feel that it was there because of the talking, the constant expression, and I speak with a lot of passion, so I believed it was straining my voice, like, because sometimes when I get excited when I speak, like, I speak really fast and I'm like, da 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 da, like my voice can't keep up with the flow of my thoughts. And my mom speaks like that too, so we always, there's just a lot of screaming in my house, a lot of noise going on, and a lot of noise in my head. And another reason my throat was hurting is because I feel that it was my thoughts and my anxiety kind of just congesting in my throat. I had not had enough time in a while where I was just completely immersed in my own energy. I've never experienced completely being in silence for more than a few hours at a time. And I really thank God and I thank my angels, because I know that they planted this thought in my head, because it was one that I was driving home and I was like, I am gonna not speak. This is perfect. I'm gonna give my voice a rest and I'm gonna go on a quest and I'm gonna see what comes up for me, because I know I have a lot of tightness in my body that I just really want to be present with. So I picked a date, and I really liked the days that I picked to do this because it fell on the days of Catholic tradition of Holy Thursday and Good Friday up to Easter. So I was silent for 3 days on those days that Jesus was crucified, died, and buried, and then resurrected. Well, I broke my silence and began speaking again on Easter. So I was silent from Thursday to Saturday, and then I spoke again on Sunday. To achieve this solo silence, I flew to Portland, Oregon, and I was prepared that I knew I was not going to be able to speak to the people around me. So I was already like prepared that that might be uncomfortable for me and or for them. The first thing I did was, in my journal, I wrote. And so if anyone tried to come up and speak to me, for the most part, I would just be like, or, you know, I would try to respond with just my body language or my smile or my eyes first. But if they were asking me questions or something that I needed to let them know that I wasn't speaking, I would just hold this up. There were people who were a little taken off guard and confused and didn't know if I could even hear or not. So I was like, and at times it definitely was a challenge. Like I would write stuff like, is it vegan? But some people, it really felt like they were ready to speak non-verbally with me. Some people spoke sign language, so they have like a practice with non-verbal communication. So it was so cool with those people because they were just so like, okay, we're doing this. At times it was frustrating, especially because I used public transportation to get around, like the TriMet system in Portland. There was just obviously some situations where it was like, I had to really be patient even though there was a lot of chaos happening around me. But then there were some moments too where I got to see how beautiful it is to interact with people with your heart and your eyes and your hands. First day, it was a little bit of a challenge to remember that I wasn't speaking. Not that I forgot, but more just like all the energy that's all around me from using my voice and from listening to music all day and from interacting with the people in my house and doing this, going here, doing that, working, like all of that was, I could feel it kind of soaking back into my body as I consciously was aware that I am not speaking and I'm not listening to music. Those are two things that I do every day, all day. And I could just, it was kind of an uncomfortable but also beautiful way to watch my aura start to kind of come closer to me and to become filled with a little bit more presence. But there was still a lot of static. I could feel just kind of like just beginning to simmer. On the second day of my retreat, I was so tired from using the bus system and going to get food and then going to this forest, and then it just took a lot longer. It took a lot of energy to use the bus, but I wanted to save money, so I was willing to make it happen. I was a lot more present with how I feel in response to there not being distractions around me. I was able to feel just how lonely silence is as well. Like, my laptop turned off, but it's all good. A little bit added silence to this video. Much better, actually. See, I think I need music, but the silence is medicine. Okay, I wrote this journal entry and I really feel it encapsulates what I am taking away from greeting silence deeper. I love music so much, and I'm so grateful for the perpetual ecstasy it provides me. But I think that's the very reason I wanted to greet silence a little deeper. I know music is often medicine to my pain. I wanted to be able to listen in to the natural landscapes in and around me, face to face with that which cannot be reduced. I have felt a little lost, bored, frustrated, and lonely, sad, quiet. The question arises, if I didn't reach for inspiration and meaning and symbols as often as I do, what lies here then? What lies here then in the silence? In this silence that feels like nothingness, neutral, a little cold and unopinionated. But then, too, silence has reminded me of the beauty and communion that can only really appear from this stillness, this listening. I feel the blanket of God weaving in everything around me. When I breathe in, especially facing the light, I see sparkles crystallize in my lungs. And that is why no matter what it brings, silence is a gift. Silence is a gift I will give to myself often. And something magical happens the longer that we stay here in silence and in presence. Even though it brings coldness and it brings uncomfortability and loneliness or whatever it brings, this peace emerges. This peace, and you feel that it's God's grace. My body began to heal itself. Our body and our mind heals itself naturally on its own without our effort. With silence and stillness and presence and kindness and breath and rhythm with our breath and rhythm with what we observe around us and within us. I was also able to begin to hear things differently and see things differently. My vision became clearer. My breath did become deeper. My hearing became a little bit more crisp. Since I was so immersed in my own inner landscape, I wasn't being pulled outside of myself nearly as much. I felt the lump in my throat just begin to disperse deeper into my body, like my body just became more connected with my mind and with the earth and my surroundings. I'm just reminiscing on the feeling and how I really felt myself present. It was a gift to be able to do that, to be able to travel and go out of my comfort zone and to do that. And it was really a gift to be able to hold space for myself, to see how I was to unwind through that experiment. I just felt way more okay with observing my fears and my desires. Everything that I feel about anything, God was with me more, and I could hear God clearer. And that part of you that just knows everything's going to be okay, and that everything is okay, and that you will get through everything, and that you can create anything out of the nothingness, out of the silence, that part of you really gets a chance to just emerge forward and hold your hand with you. And it was so nice to be able to unravel into that presence and to just get to know myself a little bit better, to hear what's going on in my body more, and to smell things a little bit more presently. Because you're more present, your senses come alive more. The only thing that was still very challenging was when I got food, was immediately just getting absorbed in the food. Everything that we engage with on a daily basis, talking, music, work, anything that we do, anything that makes us kind of just go unconscious to ourselves. It's a natural part of life, of being human, but as a society, we are all like subconsciously, we're not even aware that we're, in this book, I think it says it. We're not even aware that we're not aware. Catch 22. It's just this current of energy that kind of pervades throughout humanity, of just our pain and like our fear facing ourselves and facing life without distraction is something we just need something to take the edge off and like distract ourselves. And it was so cool to go and to put all that aside and to just really be with myself and feel all the uncomfortableness simmering beneath the surface, and to sit with that enough as it comes and goes to be able to allow the peace that is really there and that wants to come through to emerge organically. And it just feels like I made deeper friends with myself and with the support of the universe, and I could really feel God's silent love. Silence is bizarre because it can feel neutral and like nothing really matters the way we think it matters. Or, you know, I wrote about like, if I wasn't always searching for meaning or searching, like this silence, is this really God all around, you know? And sometimes life does feel that way, like lonely and cold, and that there's not someone there watching out for you, that angels aren't there with you presently, or God is not, you know, actively caring for you because it's just silent. And Earth is very strange. The energies here are very, it's just, energy is a lot, and like when you're really tuned into it, it can feel very like, I'm not really that comfortable. I need something warm and cozy to distract me and make me feel inspired. But there is also something so subtly profound that is found within silence that you could not find through any other medium. It's like the woven background to all of life. And it is love, and it is God, and it's so subtle, but also so big at the same time, like this presence, that it really just takes patience to be there with it and to like hold space for all of it and to really observe how you feel amongst it, to receive things and knowings and whispers that you wouldn't if you weren't there sitting with presence, with God. And it makes most people in our world want to squirm to do nothing and to watch ourselves do nothing, meditate. But I can feel and I know inside the depth of me where silence lives, that the longer I keep up with silence, with practicing stillness, the more magic is going to be revealed there, and really big shifts will occur if we can get comfortable with not running away. Healing comes from here, and really beautiful cleansings and clearings come. Truth comes here. It also made me realize how much the breath, just the awareness of the breath, like just allowing your breath to flow and just keeping your attention in rhythm with your breath, just naturally, not forcing, just whenever you can remember. Your breath is like the Holy Spirit, and it will take care of things for you. It will sort out things that are going on in your mind, in your body, in your life. It'll take care of things for you if you just get out of your own way and are in this pace with trust and release and flow. And you can feel that too. You can feel and see how things work out if you just slow down and pay attention. That's another thing I noted, that like, oh my gosh, if I've been coloring my life with music and thoughts and dance and action and talking, which is all a beautiful gift, but too much of it, and like then you go to silence and you're just like, this is cold, this is lonely, like is there really anything or anyone here with me? Is there really inspiration here? I feel like when you are taking more time to be still and silent, that the greatest inspiration does come. Because what's really in your heart, you can hear and feel your heart more clearly, and what is really a priority for you. Like, there might be a lot of things you want in life, but what is really important to you right now, each day, will just kind of come up, and you'll just know that that's something you want to focus on and be present with. The essence of our experience is change. Change is incessant. Moment by moment, life flows by and it is never the same. Perpetual fluctuation is the essence of the perceptual universe. A thought springs up in your head, and half a second later it is gone. In comes another one, and then that one is gone too. A sound strikes your ears, and then silence. Open your eyes and the world pours in. Blink and it's gone. People come into your life and go. Friends leave, relatives die. Your fortunes go up and they go down. Sometimes you win, and just as often, you lose. It is incessant. Change, change, change. No two moments ever the same. There is not a thing wrong with this. It is the nature of the universe. But human culture has taught us some odd responses to this endless flowing. We categorize experiences. We try to stick each perception, every mental change in this endless flow, into one of 3 mental pigeonholes. It is good, it is bad, or neutral. Then, according to which box we stick it in, we perceive with a set of fixed habitual mental responses. If a particular perception has been labeled good, then we try to freeze time right there. We grab onto that particular thought, fondle it, hold it, and we try to keep it from escaping. When that does not work, we go all out in an effort to repeat the experience that caused the thought. Let us call this mental habit grasping. Over on the other side of the mind lies the box labeled bad. When we perceive something bad, we try to push it away. We try to deny it, reject it, and get rid of it in any way we can. We fight against our own experience. We run from pieces of ourselves. Let us call this mental habit rejecting. Between these 2 reactions lies the neutral box. Here we place the experiences that are neither good nor bad. They are tepid, neutral, uninteresting. We pack experience away in the neutral box so that we can ignore it and thus return our attention to where the action is, our endless round of desire and aversion. So this neutral category of experience gets robbed of its fair share of our attention. Let us call this mental habit ignoring. The direct result of all this lunacy is a perpetual treadmill race to nowhere, endlessly pounding after pleasure, endlessly fleeing from pain, and endlessly ignoring 90% of our experience. Then we wonder why life tastes so flat. In the final analysis, this system does not work. No matter how hard you pursue pleasure and success, there are times when you fail. No matter how fast you flee, there are times when pain catches up with you. In between those times, life is so boring you could scream. Our minds are full of opinions and criticisms. We have built walls all around ourselves and are trapped in the prison of our own likes and dislikes. We suffer. Underneath lies another perspective, a completely different way to look at the universe. It is a level of functioning in which the mind does not try to freeze time, does not grasp onto our experience as it flows by, and does not try to block things out and ignore them. It is a level of experience beyond good and bad, beyond pleasure and pain. It is a lovely way to perceive the world, and it is a learnable skill. It is not easy, but it can be learned. What we really seek is not the surface goals, those are just means to an end. What we are really after is the feeling of relief that comes when the drive is satisfied. Relief, relaxation, and an end to the tension. Peace and happiness, no more yearning. You can learn to control your mind, to step out of the endless cycle of desire and aversion. You can learn to recognize your desires, but not to be controlled by them. You want something, but you don't need to chase after it. You fear something, but you don't need to stand there quaking in your boots. This sort of mental cultivation is very difficult. It takes years. But trying to control everything is impossible. The difficult is preferable to the impossible. We are just beginning to realize that we have overdeveloped the material aspects of existence at the expense of the deeper emotional and spiritual aspects, and we are paying the price for that error. It is one thing to talk about degeneration of moral and spiritual fiber in America today, and another thing to actually do something about it. The place to start is within ourselves. Look carefully inside, truthfully and objectively, and each of us will see moments when I am the delinquent and I am the crazy person. We will learn to see those moments, see them clearly, cleanly, and without condemnation. You can't make radical changes in the pattern of your life until you begin to see yourself exactly as you are now. As soon as you do that, change will flow naturally. You don't have to force anything, struggle, or obey rules dictated to you by some authority. It is automatic. You just change. You have to see who you are and how you are without illusion, judgment, or resistance of any kind. Meditation is intended to purify the mind. It cleanses the thought process of what can be called psychic irritants. The purpose of meditation is personal transformation. The you that goes in one side of the meditation experience is not the same you that comes out the other side. Meditation changes your character by a process of sensitization, by making you deeply aware of your own thoughts, words, and deeds. Your arrogance evaporates and your antagonism dries up. Your mind becomes still and calm, and your life smooths out. Thus, meditation, properly performed, prepares you to meet the ups and downs of existence. It reduces your tension, fear, and worry. Restlessness recedes and passion moderates. Things begin to fall into place, and your life becomes a glide instead of a struggle. All of this happens through understanding. Meditation sharpens your concentration and your thinking power. Then, piece by piece, your own subconscious motives and mechanics become clear to you. Your intuition sharpens. The precision of your thought increases, and gradually you come to a direct knowledge of things as they really are, without prejudice and without illusion. So, are these reasons enough to bother? Scarcely. These are just promises on paper. There is only one way you will ever know if meditation is worth the effort. Learn to do it right and do it. See for yourself. So that was mindfulness in plain English. And I'm not even really dented in the book very much, but maybe a quarter of a way through it. But this book talks more about what meditation is not and all the misconceptions about meditation that have conflated it to being some obscure idea and some huge challenge. And it talks about what meditation really is and how to practically weave it into your everyday life and to witness the subtle changes that will add up over time to really just completely transform you and the way you see life, the way you experience life. And that is what my silent retreat was like for me, to be able to witness my mind and to just give everything that I fear and everything that I desire a break, and to just be present with myself and to regain more trust and understanding of my life and myself. And that's all. This video should definitely be done now, so thank you. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions or any experiences of your own that you would like to share in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being here with me, and I look forward to being with all of you again very soon. God bless you and peace be with you.